Come along with me to the Around the Crown 10K, a race in Charlotte, North Carolina, where they shut down the 277 Interstate going around the city. It is going to be an amazing race. Come along with me. Around the Crown 10K, baby, let's go. My friends Brian and Chelsea Mister had this idea when they were stuck in traffic on Interstate 277 that goes around Charlotte. And Brian said, I can run faster than this. And that is where the idea for Around the Crown came from. You can see the runners were about to hit the interstate, baby. Mile 1 was 8:17, not bad for vlogging on two different hands. We are officially on 277. This is the inner loop around Charlotte, North Carolina. Outer loop is still open, but at 3 a.m. this morning, cops shut down the inner loop for this amazing race. So the reason why today is so special for me is I've known Brian for almost 10 years now. I worked with him at the Charlotte Marathon, and then when he left to do Around the Crown, my video production company supported them in 2019 on their first Around the Crown event. And it was amazing to see them launch it for the first time. Because of that, and because I moved away to LA, this is my first time actually running it. So this one's a little extra special for me. Y'all are crushing it!
Around the Crown, baby!
But yeah! Paul, baby! Mile 2, 8 minutes, 11 seconds. We are now on the other side of Charlotte. Mile 3, 8:11. We are at the bottom of the Queen's Climb. 114 feet of elevation gain in less than a mile. I'm gonna get back to using both of my arms. Goodbye. If Judy can do it, anybody can do it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
My son got ahead of me. I gotta trip him up.
Cancer survivor.
Yes.
How many years young?
7.
Amazing.
In 152 races.
152 races. Oh my gosh. Mile 4, 8:23. Shout out to Around the Crown for their sustainability using reusable cups at every water stop. Coming up on the Truist cheer station. You know me, I love a good cheer station. Mile 5, 8:16. Got another cheer station. Miles. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
We got the runners coming in now. Let's make some noise, guys. Let's make some noise for them. They've been running. They sweating. I know they tired. Let's make some noise. At least we can.
Unofficial time, 51 minutes, 7 seconds, 8:16 pace. So I officially walked across the finish line at Around the Crown 10K a couple weeks ago, and I didn't do the best job of storytelling from there. So I thought, what better way to wrap up this video than to have Brian Mister, race director, on here to talk about all things Around the Crown in year 6?
Year six.
Well, man, congratulations. It was my first time touching the pavement of 277 with my running shoes, and it was pretty darn exhilarating. And for a race director who has put on a lot of amazing events in Charlotte, North Carolina, I just want to say congratulations to you and Chelsea for a fantastic race.
Thank you. I I don't think I fully realized that when you sent us that text a few months ago that it was going to be your first time doing it. In my mind, I don't know, you've done it every year. Like, you're just there. I know you're there somewhere in some kind of capacity. So knowing that it was your first year was pretty exciting. And I think next year, hopefully, will be my first year of getting to put my feet on I-277. So I still live through all of y'all as I hear back of the chills and the fun of getting out on that highway. So I'm pretty excited for it too.
For those of you that don't know, I worked in video production back in Charlotte, and so I've supported Brian with his time at Charlotte Marathon. That's where we kind of started, and then we supported with Around the Crown back in 2019, which is just crazy. So it was really exciting to get to race the race. So how did this year go? And talked a little bit about the past couple of years with Around the Crown.
It was a good year, and I'm not saying that just to, say it and be the race director and give positive vibes, because each year we definitely grade ourselves and do our own recap, and we're still going through all that. But years in the past, we've had some minor flaws that definitely feel like major cuts within us. And this year, our team just nailed everything. It was a big year. This is our third year in a row of about 25% growth. So had nearly 7,400 runners out there, and if it weren't for the daggone southern humidity, I feel like it would have been a perfect day of racing and running, really more so than racing. And we enjoyed it. It felt bigger this year. We feel like we nailed corrals. We feel like we nailed fruit and water at the finish line. Medals looked awesome. Merch looked awesome. Like, everything went well. We haven't heard any like major negative pieces to it, which is big. I mean, typically you're hearing about something. And this year was really positive. It's given us good vibes to get ready for 2025.
One of the things that you are really open about from a race director standpoint is sustainability. And I talked about it in my video, actually. Like, I was running on like mile 4, and I was like, here's a sustainability cup. They really believe in sustainability. I mean, I don't even want to know the metrics of a large race and how much plastic and waste that goes into our landfills from large caliber races. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. It was something we noticed from the beginning as well, which is why we kind of wanted to address it. I kind of come from the trail running world a little bit too, where there it's a lot more noticeable when you're putting plastic bottles into the environment or cups or whatever that may be. So, I mean, the quick math on just the cup side of it, we use a company called Hiccup. I'm actually meeting up with her today she's grabbing some cups back. But you figure we have 7,000 runners out there. There's some attrition to it. So we have 2 aid stations. So you're looking at 12 to 14,000 cups that we would have used on race day for a single use paper or plastic cup. And instead of that, we're using these reusable silicone cups called Hiccups. At the finish line, we've got aluminum can bottles of water versus plastic. And I actually just wanted to pull up my stats real fast because we cover who we work with, who I know that you've worked with in the past as well. Through all of that this year, we diverted, I'm looking at the numbers now, like almost 80,000 plastic bottles this year through our merchandise, through our Hiccup usage, through all kinds of stuff. So it's fun to see when one original crunchy idea kind of pulls into all of your partners and sponsors, and how can we do better with that? Like our presenting sponsor Truist got recycled bags this year instead of, a single use or the first use bag. So it's cool to see that fully get adopted throughout our community, and appreciate you being all about it.
Oh, of course. I've been a big proponent for sustainability for a long time. Been plant-based for 8 years, and so thinking about our overheating planet day in and day out is definitely something that I care a lot about. So if someone stumbles upon this video and they watch what just transpired, me running on 270, me and 7,000 other people running on an interstate that goes around the city of Charlotte, North Carolina, that gets shut down and is very well by the police department in Charlotte. But if somebody sees this,
it's the best form of disruption, is like we like to say. It is disruption, but it's a pretty cool way to do it.
What is the thing about Around the Crown that really makes it stand out from other 10Ks you've seen in the Southeast area or around the U.S.?
I think what's kind of fun about this, and I don't think I would have had this answer a few days ago, but I was on another podcast earlier this week or last week called Trials of Miles, a really, really fun one. And they were asking, a similar question, not exactly the same. And I don't know if it's one big win, but I think we have like 100 really small wins. We like having all of those very intimate conversations with the different groups across Charlotte. And it's not just on race weekend. We are constantly out there in a lot of different ways. It could be putting on a running race in a different part of the community and making money off of it that way. Or it could be just like hey, let's go meet up. And there's no money, there's no financial piece involved. It is just like being a part of Charlotte, something that we love so much of that we want to continue to better. So I think it's that constant theme, and probably really goes back to our pillars of, you mentioned one, sustainability, two, Charlotte. I mean, our shirts are more Charlotte based than they are Around the Crown based. And then our third is just inclusivity or equitability, and making sure that everyone has a spot at that starting line. And we lean into those three pillars throughout our race. So it's not like it's going to be the fastest course or it's going to be the best weather or things like that, but it will be the hypest course you've ever been on because the city is behind it, be it the cheer stations or the water stops or the people that you're running next to. We have an amazing community that's allowed us to get everyone really excited to do something so silly of shutting down a highway and go running up a really steep hill and running for 6 miles, like an hour and a half with your friends. And I think people don't look at it as a run. I think they look at it as a community activity, and they're out there having a good time. And you're going to feel that energy when you come to Around the Crown.
Speaking of community and energy, like you were saying before we hopped on the call, you are really a 365-day entity from the things that you're doing in Charlotte, whether that be a random run club on a Tuesday to your track series that you do to the other events that you oversee in the Charlotte area. So what does a full year look like with besides
yeah
shenanigans?
We definitely like to think we're an evergreen company in our community, that is, in that disrupting a community like that of shutting down a highway could definitely have a lot of negatives to it. But we'd like to think that we're out there enough and supporting the community in different ways, not always through the running side of things, that there's always an opportunity to hang out with us, be it running and getting sweaty or grabbing a beer, coffee, or whatever it might be. And we're out there cheering at other races. So it's some of that of just always being out there. And the other part of it too, that I was hinting at a little bit earlier is we're starting to acquire some other races here in town, and we're helping consult with some other races in town. And we weren't really sure where this thing was going to go when we started. It was a general idea of like, let's shut down a highway, see what happens. Oh crap! Like, someone let us do this. This is wild. To now getting to work with some other really passionate race directors and runners in the community to do wild and cool things that I don't think are traditional in our industry. And I think that's part of that 365 evergreen, just out and about and kind of taking feedback nonstop too. I think once people recognize that you're willing to do the crazy thing or have wild ideas and you accept other wild ideas, people just start coming at you with them. And sometimes they're really cool. And sometimes it's like, that's actually a little too wild. Like, I don't know if we can do that one, but I like that you came to me. It's fun.
It takes a wild idea for you not to say yes. I mean, it's kind of,
I'll explore it for a little bit.
Because you guys are 365 with what you and Chelsea are doing, from races to consulting to being in the community. What's the best way for people to follow along? I'm guessing social media. So what's your handle for those?
Yeah, certainly. I would say social media. I mean, we've got a newsletter going that we send out once every couple weeks or so. That's mainly centered around the Crown. But I would say the best way is through our Instagram. And we're on Facebook as well, but definitely more active on Instagram and starting to get there with threads as well. It's just at Around the Crown 10.
You on threads. Thanks for the follow.
I did. You know what I was doing? And this will be, we won't go into it too much right now, maybe after the call, but I was looking for engagement numbers on there and how to find it. And I found some things out. It was very interesting. But I was playing on there again, and I was like, okay, this is a cool platform. I enjoy this a little bit more than I think I realized. And if you're going to choose, a Facebook or a Threads, I was like, I'm kind of digging on Threads right now. Like, this is fun. And honestly, the other one for us too, and this is specific, and going back to the original question here of following us and where to find information, is Strava as well, which is a running or cycling app. We have a club on there, and we're active on there chatting. So yeah, Around the Crown 10K on Instagram. My personal is bmr06. Chat with me on there. I'm constantly on there. I feel like I answer more like DM related questions than I do actual email questions to like info@Around the Crown.
Yeah.
So please feel free to reach out there. We're very personable. It's going to be myself or potentially my wife answering those questions.
Well, I appreciate you for putting on a great race. Shout out to all the volunteers that were there.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. So many. It was you. I don't think I've ever seen a race director halfway into mile one with his camera before in the 40 plus races I've ever done in my life. You are the least stressed race director I have ever seen in my life. I don't know if you're hiding it or if you are just a masterful delegator, and I'm guessing that it's the second one because you've done this so many times, but like you were...
it's a little bit both. It's a little bit of both. And it's kind of at that point too, once the gun goes off, like, what can I change? It's happening at this point. We've taken, like we said, we've taken the last 364 days to plan for this thing. And I'll get back and I'll get, peeling bananas and doing all that stuff too. But for that first little bit, let's take 15 minutes and cheer everyone on who's out there. And it's been the last couple of years, I've made it a habit to try to run with the elites as long as I can, which is about a quarter mile, and then I'm dead. So then I just stand there like that's where I was trying to go anyway and cheer people on,
Right.
which was fun. And like seeing our pacers out there and seeing just like friends in the community. I mean, it's just my hand is sweaty afterwards and red from just high-fiving people and clapping, and that's exactly what I want. So yeah, there's always going to be some stress there, but also like, what has stress ever done for us? I can't change anything via stress. So it's fun to be out there. I'm glad that you recognize that.
Well, I appreciate you, buddy. Keep doing what you're doing with your community building and these amazing races back in Charlotte. And I can't wait to hop at the start line at the next one.
Right back at you. Appreciate it, Dodge.